Welcome back. We are now 1 week through the year for 2024, and some people are having those New Year's resolutions, maybe looking for a new job opportunity. So we are joined by Sheila Oelerich, who is the State Program Specialist for the Department of Workforce Services, joining us today to talk a little bit about job hunting. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So I know a lot of people mentioned this is a good time to start looking for a new job if you're considering a career change. What advice do you have for people?
You know, I have two really important tips for people. First is about resumes, second is about interviews. So let's start with resumes.
Yes.
So for any job, you need to target your resume specific to that job. Don't have a generic resume. What I recommend people do is they look at the job posting and they pull out the keywords that they see in the job posting in terms of skills that the employer wants, experience, and you pull those exact words and you put them into your resume. That way it's really targeted. You know, the employers see it because honestly, they only look at a resume for about 10 to 30 seconds and then it's done.
10 to 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So if everyone is watching and following that guideline, what are some other things that can help them stand out? Because I'm sure keywords help, but if everyone's doing that, is there anything that can highlight your special skill set to maybe have you stand out from the pack?
Yeah, so I would also keep it short and kind of simple and to the point, right? Mm-hmm. And everything that's most important, put in the upper half of your resume.
Gotcha. I noticed a lot of people with resumes lately have also been putting a photo at the top.
Yeah.
Do you recommend that? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a great idea. I think employers are more likely to remember you if they see a photo.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. So assuming someone has a great resume, they make it to the job interview, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see people make with that one-on-one job interview?
Well, that's a great question. I would say the number one question that's asked in job interviews is tell me about yourself. Mm-hmm. And then the big mistake that people make is they go personal. Well, I was born in St. George, I have this many kids. That's not what they're asking. What they're asking is they want to know about your experience in the job that they're offering you or perhaps will offer you. So you need to do a little bit of research about the job and about the company and then come prepared with about a 30 to 60 second commercial about yourself. And that commercial needs to highlight the knowledge that you have, the relevant experience, and the skills that you can bring to this job. So this way they're really impressed and they're like, offer you the job.
That is really interesting, and that is one of the hardest questions that you get asked, but you get asked every time during a job interview. I love that advice.
Yep. I would write it out and then practice it in the mirror.
Okay, I love that. That's fantastic. And speaking of jobs, there is a job fair that you guys have coming up. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so excited about the job fair. It's coming up on Thursday from 10 to 1. We have over 75 employers that are going to be at this virtual job fair. They each have their own virtual booth. You go in, you can see the jobs posted, and you actually chat with a hiring representative. It's a great way to see all these employers all in one spot. We have all sorts of industries represented. We have government, healthcare, e-commerce, construction, you name it. It is great. It is a great virtual job fair.
I have so many more questions, but I know we're running out of time. Before we go, if you had one key piece of advice for people who are considering a new career path, what would it be?
Get on our website, jobs.utah.gov. Come check out the jobs that we have on there. We got over 40,000 jobs. Sign up for the virtual job fair. Come show up anytime between 10 and 1 on Thursday.
All right, Sheila, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find more information about this?
Everything is on jobs.utah.gov.
Jobs.utah.gov. Thank you so much, Sheila.
Thank you.